Hello YouTubers, what is up? CD Mangaka here, and today I have a competitive capture the flag for you on Karachi. We were up against a party about 5 when we were at party 6. I think we lost one of our party members in the middle of the game though. Nothing too special here, but it's a competitive game, so I got posted up for you, but we're not going to talk about that. I want to talk about midfielding in Modern Warfare 2 and what makes an effective midfielder. As you can see, they got their clan tag going on down there. But aside from that, I sat down and I thought, there's a teammate of mine who has trouble midfielding. He's a good defender, but he can't midfield, for the life of him. And I almost had to go substitute midfielding for him while I was a defender. And I thought about it for a minute. I'm like, what makes a good midfielder? So I sat down. I actually wrote up an essay, which is right in front of me. It's a bit of an essay. Stupid clock's going off right now. So, and I refer to Karachi in the middle of the essay, so that's why I'm using this game. And I'm just going to read off this essay of what makes a good midfielder. So just you can ignore the gameplay, you can even just listen to me, but this is the advice I can give to you. You're gonna have to generalize this and come up with your own ideas, but this is the basic formula for it. In Modern Warfare 2, Capture the Flag is one of the most team-dependent game modes in the entire game. In Domination and Demolition, you can win games with loose positions and everybody playing in their own unique style. But in Capture the Flag, if a member of your team isn't playing a role correctly, it affects the entire team and can jeopardize the game. Runners and defenders are black and white roles, and in the eyes of some ignorant objective players, are the only two roles that deserve credit for the victory in Capture the Flag. But the midfielding role is by far the most important when it comes to supporting the team and allowing the runners and defenders to play their roles in the best case scenarios. But a midfielder who cannot aid his team is like a locked gear that will not turn. It jams the entire structure of the team and can result in catastrophic failure. So what makes a good midfielder, and what tactics should be employed that provides the midfielder with every possible advantage against the enemy team? The three basic things are proper equipment and class setup, proper positioning, and outsmarting the enemy. And a quick note, guys, as I'm looking at this video, I'm noticing a whole bunch of examples. So as I go talk about this stuff, rewatch this video and see if you can identify what I'm doing as I'm giving you the examples. When I get to the tactics part, I was doing them a whole bunch of the times. So, I'll point them out to you when I talk about them, but let's get on reading. People who generally play Call of Duty and other FPS, first-person shooter, support running and gunning rather than camping, and say that only bad players camp because they cannot play the game. But this is not true. A smart camper who uses the map structure to his advantage will beat any runner who relies on nothing but his gun. And midfielders are essentially smart campers. They stay in one area, but they control the area for the purpose of keeping enemies out. They set up in locations where they overview high traffic areas that the enemy team can use and then shut it down by erecting a fortress with their skills with a gun. That's probably a bad sentence. But in order to do this, they need the proper class setup. This can change due to the map you're playing on and what area of the map you plan on controlling. But the three standard weapons of a midfielder are large machine guns, assault rifles, and the sniper rifle. These guns excel in medium to long range combat, which is where a midfielder should plan to keep the majority of his engagements. Assault rifles allow them to snap from target to target with their fast aim down sight, while large machine guns can be used in numerous gunfights without having to reload, making great for watching alleyways where enemies are constantly pouring out from, such as this alleyway down in the Sedum. A sniper rifle has the greatest range and visibility advantage. You can hide yourself in such a way where only half of your head is exposed, while your enemy's whole body fills the entire scope. This gives you a greater visibility advantage and can allow you to hit shots while your enemies can't hit you. But due to the sniper rifle's lack of an ammunition count as well as an automatic feature, they should be best avoided. You should avoid scenarios where it is a 3-to-1 scenario and have a good secondary backup. Secondaries for the midfielder should either be a pistol or a machine pistol. The reason is that they both allow for fast weapon changes, something that sniper rifles and large machine guns need in order to survive close range engagements. They also allow for medium range combat should your primary weapon run out of ammo. Perks. There are very few perks that a midfielder should use that are the standard for midfielders to use. The blue perks, I'm going by color here. Blue perks include Scavenger, Sleight of Hand, or even Bling, as the perks that a midfielder should use. Marathon should not be used by midfielders because they're not running around the map like flag runners do. And one-man army, we're not even going to go there. The best red perk is Stopping Power. Because you're a midfielder, your goal is to kill the enemy team and use gunfights, so why not have a perk that increases the damage of your gun? It's just make common sense. However, depending on the scenario, cold-blooded or even danger close can be viable options. Lightweight should be avoided because that is once again a runner's perk. Hardline can also be used, but if you're comfortable attaining a 5-kill streak with your gun and nothing else, then you're just wasting a perk slot. Green perks, there are 3 green perks that you should use. Scrambler, Ninja, or Steady Aim. Scrambler may seem like a horrible idea at first, but think of it this way. If you're controlling an area of the map and using Scrambler, you're essentially casting out an area where the enemy can't control the area and they can't see the radar, making it a much more formidable place and also improving the structure of your fortress. Steady Aim can help with close range encounters, you know, say you have to switch your Glock 18 and spray a guy down, or aid you and keep holding your breath longer when you're using a sniper rifle. Ninja is just a standard perk setup for all COD players, and if you want to use that perk, go ahead. Commando and Sitrep should be avoided, not because they're douchey things to use, but because they are perks that are based on running and gunning. Commando is for running in and getting close to the enemy, and stabbing, which is something that midfielders should avoid doing, getting into close range combat. And then Sitrep is allowed to push up in the enemy spawn. If you're controlling an enemy, an area of the map, and you're not going to push up, you don't have to worry about enemy equipment. Proper positioning is perhaps the hardest and most important thing a midfielder can do for his team. In a full party, 2 midfielders should split up and take opposite sides of the map. This helps to control both sides of the map and help funnel the enemy down and prevent the entire enemy team from pushing up on one side of the map, which has happened before actually on Karachi. We could not control Chicken Coop and we had the entire enemy team breathing down on our spawn from Chicken Coop because we did not have a midfielder in that area. But what makes a good position to midfield from? 2 things. You should be able to look over a transition area from the enemy spawn, and it should also provide adequate cover for the midfielder. In Capture the Flag, the spawns are based around the flag. So if there's no one by that, if there's no enemy teammate by, if there's no one on your team by the enemy flag, they'll keep spawning there. And that way you can only have to focus on 1 or 2 areas. From the cafe in Karachi, you only have to watch the middle building and the alleyway, and also that flat roof. That's half of the area that you just have to focus on. By allowing you to focus on this area, on such a small area of the map, you can greatly increase the odds of you that you will not be caught off guard and winning your gunfights. Cover also improves by allowing you to clip enemy areas, as well as, just basic protection, as well as offering new places to hide. Again, an example is Karachi. Karachi has a cafe, it has the counters, it also has the car out in front of the door, as well as that side wall that I can use to peer down in the alley. It's a great cover region, and it makes you that much harder to kill. There are several areas like these, like the cafe in Karachi, on all Modern Warfare 2 maps, but it's up to you to find the ones that you can use and function effectively from. And if you can use them properly, you will almost be unstoppable as a midfielder. Now, but it is the smart tactics of a midfielder combined with the other 2 that make them so difficult to beat. You can see that guy, he had a good midfielding class, sleight of hand, hardline, and then whatever his 3rd perk was. The 2 tactics that a midfielder should rely on are basically relocation within an area and fading. Both of these are mind games for the enemy. Relocation within an area is basically what I do every time I kill an enemy, as you're going to see here in a moment. As you see me take control of the cafe in the first part of the video, I'll look down the alley and I'll get a kill. Now I won't stay behind the same counter because what happens is the enemy is going to think I'm a camper and I'll be in the same spot. So he'll memorize the spot which I'm in and he can get the jump on me even. And I could almost lose a gunfight. So instead of staying in that same spot, what I do is I reload my gun and I change area. You saw I hovered around the car for a bit. The guy's going to turn the corner, look to the first spot I was in, the last spot I was in, because he thinks I'm there. That's the last area he knew I was in. Wow. He knew I was in. So that's the first spot he's going to look. Meanwhile, I'm behind the car. He doesn't even look at the car because I wasn't there last time. Boom, I clock him. He's another kill to my kill streak. After I do that, I relocate to another area. Using 3 or 4 areas that you can relocate in between and shuffling up just devastates the enemy team. Like right here, I'm using this car to midfield. I'm midfielding ADOM. I'm staying behind this car because it's only a good spot. And there's not really a lot of traffic right now. I'm trying to look down into Chicken Coop, but I think I'll relocate in a minute. But another tactic is fading. Fading is basically when you get in a gunfight and then you just drop and you kind of back out. Right here, this was not fading. This is just me jumping down and trying to fight back, and I got lucky here. But right here, I fade away. This is kind of me fading. Fading is essentially relocating in a sense, but it's backing up into a different area. It's not you moving to left or right, but it's going deeper in the enemy area. Because when enemies in Call of Duty generally assume that, if there's someone in the area, the first thing that they're going to do is kill them. And, if they're halfway into the cafe and they haven't been killed yet, then there must be no enemies in that area, and it should be safe to proceed. But I'm still in the cafe region, I'm just deeper into it, so they're lulled into a sense of security, and all of a sudden I pop out, get the drop on them, and kill them. It's a bad example, it's a bad narration of such an example, but I think it gets the point across. Does it make sense? But I think we understand what fading and relocating is. But they're both good tactics. If you get into a gunfight and you're losing it, just fade away. Fade back out, and kind of let your health heal. Relocate deeper within your spawn. That way, the enemy has to push. You should not be the one pushing as a midfielder. The enemy should be pushing you. Oh, wait, watch this play right here. This is, okay, highlight of the day. Well, if we had a midfielder chicken coop, I wouldn't have to be doing this. But I had to come out here and do this, and I didn't even realize those are enemies. So I got killed, but I got the flag return, so they don't even get a flag grab on us. Which is fine. I wish I could have gotten payload there, but it benefited the team. So incorporate these 3 principles of right class, right location, and right tactics, and you'll be an unstoppable midfielder. I know I didn't read exactly off the essay. I kind of improvised in some portions of it, but I think the message is still clear, and I still think I got my point across. I mean, just review the video, and then also, as I talk about things, look for when I mention those things in the video. Look for those parts. When I talk about fading, go back and see if you can find myself fading or relocating. This is to help you guys midfield. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. Thank you again.